Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to From Corporate to Creative with your host, Kelly Galea. Our show is designed to help you make the leap from corporate to creative, and if you're already in the creative business, we'll help inspire you to create success on your terms. Each episode, we'll focus on topics to help creative professionals like you to express your creativity, pursue your passions, and find freedom, flexibility, and fun in your own creative business. Thanks for joining us. Hi, everyone. This is Kelly, and welcome to the show. I'd like to start today with a story. It's about a girl who did well in school all throughout her elementary, middle, and high school years. So then she and everyone around her expected her to get into a good college, which she did. She then spent 4 years following the path that had been laid out before her, studying and working hard so she could graduate and land a good job with a big company, which she did. All through those years, she couldn't wait for that big day. The big day when all her hard work paid off and her real life could begin. Real life meant working Monday through Friday, 8 to 12 hours a day, sometimes even weekends depending on the project. Week in and week out, logging her hours and living for the weekends. That is when, she didn't need to put in any more overtime on the weekends. She quickly grew very tired and bored. She'd been hired for a certain role, one that didn't even begin to use her skill set, but she was fortunate enough to participate in a program where her job function changed about every 6 to 12 months, which helped a bit with the boredom, but not that nagging feeling that there must be something more to life. She quickly grew very disillusioned with the corporate environment. She yearned for something more. She was a creative person and wanted to express her creativity in her daily work, not just the hobbies and interests that she had precious little time for anyway. So she left Company A for Company B, thinking maybe it was just the culture of Company A that wasn't quite a fit. Again, this helped for a little bit. New people, new industry, new projects and technology, lots of things to learn. And then that restless feeling, it started up again. So she would apply for different positions, climbing the corporate ladder, eventually leaving Company B for Company C, so the whole cycle could start all over again. The higher she climbed, the more she experienced all sorts of things that didn't resonate with her at all, which left her feeling incredibly frustrated. She looked around her and saw that most of her coworkers, they didn't seem to be enjoying what they were doing either. All in all, she was surrounded by bright and talented people who had a lot to offer, who would be better suited to other roles, but no one seemed to notice or care. It was the same thing at Company A, B, C, D, E, and F. She experienced serious burnout. She couldn't take one more meeting when at least 6 seemed to be the status quo for any decisions needing to be made. She couldn't take one more complaint from people who seemed to be unopened or unwilling to change. She couldn't take one more day of driving up to her office and that feeling of dread that threatened to overcome her as she rounded the corner and the building came into view. She couldn't bear the thought of yet another Sunday she couldn't enjoy because Monday was just a few hours away. She was tired of feeling stuck, of feeling trapped, shackled by the golden handcuffs, the money and benefits that corporate provided. She'd been dreaming of quitting her job, tapping into her true potential, talent, and her creativity. She longed to break free, but was wondering how was she going to escape? What would she do next? What would her family think? What would her friends and coworkers think? Finally, one day she realized it was much more important what she thought. She was tired of trying to conform. She wanted to be herself and to be true to herself. It was like that quote from Anais Nin. and the day came when the risk to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom. It was time to make a decision, and she made that decision. She made the decision to go from limitations and constraints to freedom and flexibility. She made the decision to go from corporate employee to creative entrepreneur and business owner. After spending nearly 20 years in corporate America, she gave her notice, and she did so without fully knowing all the details of what would happen next. But she wasn't scared. She felt strangely invigorated as she knew she had this absolute knowing deep inside that she was meant for more, that she and her family deserved more, and she could make it happen. Now, I would love to tell you that she never looked back. She did. And that was just one of the many mistakes she made. I would love to tell you that she became an overnight success and made millions with an IPO. It didn't quite happen that way either. I would also love to tell you that she immediately knew what her purpose was and set about living it. But that wouldn't be an accurate portrayal of truth. I can tell you she learned a lot along the way, a lot about herself and the people in her life. She made tons of mistakes, suffered abysmal failures, not only surviving them, but rediscovering a resilience and tenacity that she'd had all along. She learned how to define success on her terms, and in experiencing these things, the good and the bad, she came to connect with her true calling, her mission, which is to help creative professionals break out and break free, to find freedom, flexibility, fun, and success in their own creative business. So you probably guessed that she is me, and I'm so happy that you're here. There's a lot more to my story, and I'm looking forward to sharing it on our shows in the weeks and months ahead. But it's not about me. It's about the corporate to creative path. So while I'll share lessons learned, we're also going to be hearing from other experts and guests who went from corporate to creative, and they want to share their secrets to success with you. If you're a corporate employee who knows life's too short to spend it doing something you don't love, if you're dreaming of quitting your day job, if you're longing to break free, this show is for you. If you're feeling stuck and trapped because you think you'll have to settle for less if you venture out on your own, and you're not sure what to do, this is the show for you. And if you're feeling disillusioned by what's happened with our economy the last few years, and who isn't, because you realize there are no guarantees, that it's up to you to make it happen if you want something more for yourself and for your family, but maybe the thought of making a change is overwhelming, this is the show for you. You're in the right place if you're tired of trying to conform and want to be true to you, to be your own boss without a timesheet or time clock. You're in the right place if you feel you've gone as far as you can in corporate America. Maybe your contributions aren't being recognized or valued, and you want to be able to express your creativity to really use your talents and skills. You're in the right place if you're tired of being stuck in the confines of a job that just doesn't suit you and filling a job description that leaves you wondering how the heck you ended up here anyway. You're in the right place if you're tired of being a small cog in a giant corporate machine, receiving a paycheck that can make you feel like a fraud or even worse, a sellout, while you'd really rather pursue your passions and be paid for doing something you love. You're also in the right place if you're already pursuing entrepreneurial endeavors on the side, or if you've already made the leap from corporate to creative and are thinking about what will happen and where you'll end up if you don't get your business working. If you've resonated with any of these statements, this is a show for you. And I think you have a clear picture of why I'm hosting this show. I don't like to see people suffering and not enjoying their day-to-day lives because they're feeling stuck, trapped, scared, maybe thinking they can't make the leap from corporate employee to creative entrepreneur, that it's just too risky. It hurts me to see people who have so much to offer, so much potential, sitting there with untapped talents and creativity. It hurt me when I was a team lead and manager in a corporate setting when people weren't aware of their potential. And it pains me as a business coach and consultant when creative entrepreneurs and business owners sell themselves short and don't succeed in business. It makes me sad to see people going through the grind and living where they don't want to, letting their obligations keep them from living their own lives. It comes down to making a decision to change your environment. And here are your two choices. You can change your career environment and go from corporate to creative. Start your own business. Be your own boss. Do what you want to do when you want to do it. Work with the types of clients you want and the sorts of projects that really get you going. So that's your first choice. The second choice, you can bring your creative self into your corporate life and help your employer introduce or bring in more flexibility, continuing opportunities for personal and professional growth, and opportunities to use your leadership skills to be an innovator and to be a risk taker. Change your corporate environment so you can make decisions, have more independence, and enjoy autonomy. Encourage your employer to develop and grow your corporate culture to reflect your values. Only you know which choice is right for you. And either way, it's often confusing and challenging because there's so much information out there. We're bombarded by it every day through so many different mediums. So where do you go for simple, straightforward information? For a clear strategy and ways to get where you want to go? And how do you pull all the pieces together and know what to do when? Well, following this show is a great start because that's what I'm here to help with. I want to inspire you to keep things simple and provide you with shortcuts so you can make that decision and take control of your life and your career. I'm here to support you in being who you want, doing what you want, and having all that you want without all of the headaches, the hassle, or the heartache that's all too common when we try to figure it all out on our own. I'm going to share the keys to breaking free with you so you can go from corporate employee to creative entrepreneur. And if you're ready to be inspired and want to start considering your corporate to creative path, I invite you to lean forward, listen in, and be ready to take some notes. And if you're wanting more right away after this show, I'm going to share with you a way to get just that before the end of today's episode. So let's talk a little more about what you can expect to gain by listening to our show. Here's some of what we'll cover today and in the weeks ahead. First, we'll uncover clues that may mean you're ready to kick the corporate habit. We'll explore paths to discovering your passion and turning it into a profitable business. We'll talk about how best to prepare before making the leap from corporate to creative. I don't necessarily recommend leaping before you look like I did. Next, we'll share ways to avoid obstacles and pitfalls that threaten to slow you down before you've even started. You'll also receive proven methods to keep you out of overwhelm and into designing and creating your success. Remember those secrets to success that you'll get from our guest experts? Stay tuned for more. There is nothing as rewarding as following your heart and having a career that lets you pursue your passion and do something you love. What we'll share with you on our show can be the start of a brand new career, really a brand new life for you. And I know this because I did it. And our other experts and guests have also done it. It's there in the decisions we continue to make and actions that we continue to take as our creative businesses, our dreams, and goals evolve. We kicked the corporate habit, and we know that you can too. We've defined success on our own terms, and we know that you can too. We've designed and created lives that work for us, and we know absolutely that you can too. If there's something seeking expression through you, if you're looking for a more complete expression of your talents and skills, you can do it through insight and inspiration with creative solutions. It's possible, and it doesn't have to be so complicated. I read somewhere they say you can't have it all, so so skip the lousy parts. We're going to help you do just that. So let's talk about a little bit more about what these lousy parts are. They're the things you think you'll never do or that will never happen to you. I'll share just a few of mine with you now. Bad business decisions, working with the wrong business partner, and working with less than ideal clients, trusting others to manage the money, creating a job for myself, not a business, abandoning many of the skills I acquired during my corporate days. You see, I really misinterpreted my corporate burnout. For example, I ran screaming from technology systems and processes that really could have served me quite well. Another mistake, trying to figure it all out on my own. It's, again, all those obstacles and roadblocks that you'll encounter and the detours and setbacks along the way. The pitfalls to avoid, such as all the financial ups and downs. In this world of technology, smartphones, social media updates, it's really easy to overcomplicate our lives and our businesses. So we'll provide the shortcuts, alternate paths, and directional signs on this show. Now, my particular nag or expertise is grasping complex topics and boiling them down and making it simple, because I'm an information junkie, so you don't have to be. I do the legwork for my clients and then pull all the pieces together and make it all work. My goal is to do the same for you on this show, providing the support you need when choosing to make a career and business change. We'll help you to find your unique place in the world. You'll discover how to tap into your unique skills and how to prosper from them. During your time in corporate, you've really honed your skills. It's time to use them and control your life and career. You've built up your contacts, your network, your knowledge base. Maybe you've noticed markets and niches not served by your employer. Maybe there are complementary services and products the marketplace would love. Maybe you know there are better, faster ways to deliver those services and products. So how do you know if you have what it takes to be a creative entrepreneur? You need to be self-confident. You must be a self-starter and have initiative. Have the ability to keep yourself motivated. The discipline not only to work, but also to take time to play. You must be tenacious and willing to do whatever it takes. And you have to explore ways to connect and engage and really be comfortable with getting out there. Otherwise, it's easy to feel isolated. Now, these are just a few traits, and we're going to go into more details about a number of these areas in the weeks to come. Many of these traits are the same that make a great employee. So I'm guessing that you probably see these traits in yourself already. So let's talk about the clues that you're ready to kick the corporate habit. Well, we covered many of them in our story earlier. Some of what I was feeling back then may have rung true for you too. Here are a few more clues. You know exactly why you don't like Mondays. In fact, you don't care much for any of the weekdays, and you hit your snooze button repeatedly as you put off the inevitable. You're get up and go, got up and went, and you crave to have that drive back again. You're avoiding contact with your coworkers. You're showing up later and later. You're avoiding going to lunch with anyone and skipping after-hours events and holiday outings. You feel boxed in when you think about your job and are tired of feeling stifled. When you hear about other people doing what they love for a living, you wish it was you. You're dreaming and daydreaming of quitting your job. You're already planning your escape. You're a natural leader and want to make a real contribution. Your curiosity and ideas have gotten you into trouble with your employer more than once. You wish you could decide what services and products are offered and delivered by your company. You want to tap into your true talents and creativity. You want to live where you want, work when you want. You want to wake up every morning looking forward to getting to work and feeling passionate about what you do. You want the ability to control your business and control your future. You want to shape your destiny and create your own path. You'll notice that I didn't talk about fear or the absence of fear, because we all feel fear. One of my favorite acronyms is for fear, and that's false expectations appearing real. You can't allow yourself to focus on the fear. Why would you focus on false expectations appearing real? It's an illusion. What's important is to focus on what you want to create, the life you want to create, one that works for you. Knowing what you really want and taking action whether or not you feel fear. And if you're feeling different fears, the only way to move past them is by taking action. I'd like to share one of my favorite quotes with you, and it's this: whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. So I'd like you to get some of this genius, power, and magic right now. So let's start with some bold goals. And I do hope that you have a pen and paper handy or a way to jot down your thoughts. Now imagine creating a life that works for you. You've quit your job. You're doing something you enjoy, working the way you want, working when you want. You have time for a personal life and the things that you enjoy doing. So what does your life look like? And I want you to jot the first things that come to mind when you hear these questions. How are you spending your time? Where are you working? How are you spending your time? Where are you working? When are you working? Who are you with? Who uses the talents and skills you have? What kinds of services are you offering? And do you also have products to offer? What are you paying yourself? So that first question again, how are you spending your time? Next, where are you working? When are you working? Who are you with? Who uses the talents and skills you have? What kinds of services are you offering? And do you also have products to offer? And finally, what are you paying yourself? Okay, so put that picture of your life aside for now. We're going to come back to it in just a bit. While I could picture what my life would look like once I made the leap from corporate, it took some effort getting there. It took a lot of searching and exploring for what I might want to do. There were things I enjoyed, but I discovered were better left as a hobby, such as photography, because while I enjoyed it and I was good enough at it, I wasn't really that passionate about it. And I always liked interior design, and I thought that was my passion, but then I discovered that I liked the business of design. So this has since evolved to the business of creative professionals, and this is what you're seeing me do now. My passions and strengths are in helping creative professionals create. I hear all the time that I have a calming effect on people, that I make them feel better, they feel optimistic and hopeful, and they feel that it's possible to create the business and life they want. So hopefully you're feeling some of the same today, and you're ready to discover your passions and strengths. I have a few tips and suggestions for you. The first is read Tom Rath's, R-A-T-H, Tom Rath's Strength Finder 2.0, and take the online quiz so you can get your results immediately. They send you a report listing your top 5 strengths, or as they call them, themes. So it includes theme descriptions and information about your personalized strengths. You're also prompted with a few questions to get you thinking a little bit more. Your report also includes ideas for action for each strength. Plus, there's a section about achievement where they share quotes from people who have the same strengths as you and also ask how you will use your talents to achieve. So I hope everyone listening today has read or will read this book. Take the quiz and share your results with me because I'd love to know what came up for you. Next, read as much as you can. Take classes, attend workshops, journal. Get comfortable with yourself and your thoughts, your hopes and dreams. There was an exercise in Sarah Bronick's book, Simple Abundance, that I found helpful years ago. You basically put together a timeline of meaningful events in your life. So things that stood out, made an impact, and maybe had you feeling that you were on the right track. So while I'm encouraging you to seek out information, there is a danger in having too much information, and here's why. You may be unsure as to what to do, and being unsure can sometimes lead you to just ignoring all of it and staying put, staying with what you know. So keep it simple. Focus on what resonates with you. Pull out the helpful bits and pieces and focus on who you are being. What do you want to share? Who do you want to help? You are already whole and complete. You just need to let it out and share your gifts with the world. Our creative power is unlimited. We don't have to limit ourselves. We're meant to enjoy all that we can create and the process of creating it. You know, in the corporate culture, we're always trying to get ahead. We have to deal with all the politics around looking better when others don't. So it's important to embrace a spirit of cooperation, keep things moving and circulating. It's important to give and to be able to receive. Now, this lesson of receiving, it's been a tough one for me. The corporate culture breeds mistrust. We're always on the lookout for hidden agendas. When it comes to giving and sharing, start from where you are now and what you have now. Give your expertise, your knowledge, your creative genius, time and energy. When you think about creating, think about what it means to create, to expand. We're here to build up all forms of beauty, intellectual, material, spiritual. The concept of creativity includes how you'll impact others and help expand their lives. We're used to cutbacks, budget reallocations, shortages, making up the difference by rolling up your sleeves, working harder, arriving earlier, and staying later. This kind of mentality cuts off the flow. Going from corporate to creative is not about creating a job for yourself, so it's important to focus on how you want to work. You must also know what success means to you. Sometimes we forget that corporate mentality is so ingrained. Success does not mean that some higher up noticed you and now you can continue climbing the corporate ladder. So here are some ideas on what success might mean to you. Having family and friends who support you and love you. Being happy and healthy. Being fit. Having the money you want to live the way you want. Having a nice home or car or clothes. Traveling and experiencing new places and meeting interesting people. Having the types of experiences that you'd like to have. Attending films, going to concerts, going to the theater. Maybe success to you means being of service, providing value, and being appreciated for it. So many times, again, we sell ourselves short because we've forgotten how to dream. Most people don't set goals. What's your vision? Let's come back now to that picture of your life. How are you spending your time? Where are you working? When are you working? Who are you with? Who uses the talents and skills you have? What kinds of services are you offering? What are you paying yourself? Really connect with your vision. Feel confident and secure in knowing that you can create this. I told you earlier that I would let you know where to go to get more. In the spirit of keeping you out of overwhelm, for now I invite you to connect with me on Facebook at facebook.com/corporate2creative. Like our page and you'll receive our special report, Creating Success on Your Terms, 3 simple steps you can take today. The report includes the exercise that we did earlier, so if you missed any of the questions, you can find them there as well. I'd really love to know what you thought of today's show and what questions you may have. So I'm open to your feedback, and I want to really cover the topics that are of most interest to you in future episodes. So share with me at our Facebook page, which again is facebook.com/corporate2creative, or you can share your thoughts by emailing my team at support@kellygalea.com. So support@KELLYGALEA.com. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining me for our inaugural episode of From Corporate to Creative. This has been your host, Kelly Galea, And here's to living an inspired and creative life. Until next time.